Good evening, friends. Welcome to the weekly press briefing. Since we are already beginning a bit later than usual today, let me begin with a stress-busting announcement. In a diplomatic triumph for India, the Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage has inscribed yoga in UNESCO's representative list as the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This declaration of yoga as a human treasure enjoyed the unanimous support of the 24-member Intergovernmental Committee, which overturned the decision of an evaluation body of technical experts seeking to defer the case to the next session of the committee in 2017. The inscription and classification as a human treasure brings immense recognition to yoga, clearing, as it has rigorous criteria set out by UNESCO, the only UN body mandated to capture the intangible aspects of culture. It emphasizes yoga's role as a social practice, an oral tradition, and a system of ancient and scientific knowledge, facilitating an enhanced harmony and peace across caste, creed, gender, age, and nationality. Additionally, the inscription enables a bottoms-up empowerment as it directs the spotlight towards the numerous institutions and communities in India disseminating this ancient tradition. As well, it can potentially foment a dialogue on the ideas of peace and tolerance, how these can be extended to meet the goals of sustainable development, and where India can play a leading role in this global dialogue on intercultural relations. So I hope you are sufficiently relaxed now to begin the Q&A session. Nidhi?
Vikas, we're getting a lot of queries from NRIs. For instance, today somebody's written to us from the US saying that she's been trying to find out what to do with her 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. She contacted the embassy. They told her, we really don't know what to do. A lot of NRIs are basically asking, what do they do with their money and who do they ask these questions to?
Well, as you know, the RBI did put out an FAQ on their website which addresses some of these questions. I admit it does not address all the questions, and that is why the government had set up an interministerial task force, which also has a representative from MEA. I am told, because I spoke to the Joint Secretary, who's our member on that interministerial task force, that the task force has formulated a set of recommendations. These recommendations are currently under review by the Department of Economic Affairs, and as soon as we have a decision from them, we will be in a position to communicate this. Vinita?
Because we have seen one more incident, in a terror attack incident in Nagrota this time, and that to be by Pak-sponsored terrorists. What is India going to do about it? And do you think there has been an increase in attacks in India post-surgical strikes?
As you all know, Pakistan is a country which has a long record of carrying out cross-border terrorism, which it regards as an instrument of state policy. This puts Pakistan at odds with the rest of the international community. Over the years, India has suffered many heinous attacks which have been supported and sponsored by Pakistan. This has been a calculated strategy on the part of Pakistan for many years. The attack on the Indian Parliament, the Kaluchak massacre, the 2005 Delhi bombings, the attack on the CRPF camp in Rampur in 2008. Of course, we all know the Mumbai terror attack, the attack on the Pathankot air base, and the attack on the army camp in Uri are all reminders of the continuing complicity of Pakistan in sponsoring cross-border terrorism, of which Nagrota is the latest example. So it is evident that this is not a matter of a week or a month. It is in fact a challenge which we have faced over many years, indeed over many decades. Since you refer to the surgical strikes, it was our assessment at that point of time that there was an imminent threat based on hard intelligence about the location of armed terrorists who were ready to infiltrate across the LOC and carry out terrorist activities on our side. This imminent threat was successfully neutralized through the surgical strikes. We should not look only at what happened, but also at what did not happen, what was prevented through successful neutralization of terrorists. We are awaiting detailed information on the specifics of the Nagrota attack before we decide on our next step, but I do wish to emphasize that the government takes this incident very seriously and will do what it feels is required for our national security.
Because taking this forward, today Nafees Zakaria in Pakistan has spoken in a routine press conference confirming Sartaj Aziz's visit for Heart of Asia, and he has said that India has been imposing conditions in the dialogue process between the two countries, and Pakistan would be ready for any kind of unconditional dialogue during Heart of Asia at the sidelines of the same. He has also said that it was India which scuttled the SAARC process. How does the MEA react on this?
Well, it was not India which scuttled the SAARC process. As you know, all SAARC member countries unanimously wrote to the SAARC chair, which is Nepal, telling them that in the current atmosphere in which one country is fomenting cross-border terrorism, interfering in the internal affairs of other countries, it would not be possible or conducive to hold the SAARC summit. So I think let me dismiss that particular charge straight out of the park. Now, as far as the first part of your question is concerned, as we had informed you yesterday during the curtain raiser for the Heart of Asia Ministerial Conference meeting in Amritsar, that we have not received any request from Pakistan for a bilateral meeting. India has always been open to talks, but obviously it cannot be that talks take place in an atmosphere of continued terrorism. India will never accept continued terrorism as the new normal of the bilateral relationship. Let me make that very clear. Akhilesh.
But the way you are talking to the High Commissioner of Pakistan off and on by summoning him, raising the issue of terrorism and cross-border menace that is happening in India, was it not an opportune moment when Mr. Sartaj Aziz here to give him also some good words?
Look, I mean, it is one thing for you to have a dialogue, it is another thing to have a dialogue with a particular purpose. As far as we are concerned, the primary reason for the current state of India-Pakistan relations is the continued cross-border terrorism from Pakistan. The sooner Pakistan stops cross-border terrorism, the sooner bilateral relations can come back on track. We have always been open to dialogue with Pakistan. It is India which has taken all the initiatives to have dialogue with Pakistan. It was India which invited the Prime Minister of Pakistan for the swearing-in ceremony of the new government. It was India which went to Islamabad and proposed the comprehensive bilateral dialogue. It was the Indian Prime Minister who made the unscheduled visit to Lahore. So anyone who says that we have shied away from dialogue or we have not wanted dialogue is completely off the mark. But what have we got in return for those overtures? We have got repeated instances of attacks on our security forces, attacks on our civilians. And that is what we are saying. We will never accept continued cross-border terrorism as the new normal of the India-Pakistan bilateral relationship. When Pakistan says the talk should be without conditions, we also say the same thing. All we are saying is stop cross-border terrorism, and the talks can happen. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yesterday, the Pakistani, in fact, government put out a transcript of the conversation that took place between Mr. Nawaz Sharif and Mr. Donald Trump, which seemed to mention a lot about fantastic people, fantastic country, wanting to visit them. What is India's view of the new administration in the US, your expectations when it comes to the region and terrorism emanating from Pakistan?
Look, insofar as the fantastic conversation is concerned, I believe, I've already seen a bit of a rejoinder from the US side, so I would reserve my judgment. We have only seen the one-sided version of that conversation. That conversation does talk about, the president-elect willing to resolve outstanding issues of Pakistan. Well, we believe that the most outstanding of the outstanding issues is Pakistan's continued support to cross-border terrorism. To that extent, we would welcome our dialogue between the US and Pakistan to resolve that particular issue. As far as the incoming administration's views on various issues is concerned, I do not think it would be appropriate for us to comment on them till the new administration actually takes over. Mukesh.
Sir, George Yeo recently resigned as Chancellor of Nalanda University, saying that He was not being consulted on important decision-making process. Don't you think this is yet another blatant interference in the matters of a center of excellence? And a unrelated query is, what if Sartaj Aziz racks
No,
up
please, you are,
Kashmir?
this is not the, I allow multiple questions when we have these special briefings. But regular briefings, I'm sorry, one question only. Okay, you have asked about the developments pertaining to Nalanda University. Now, I know there have been a number of reports on this entire issue. So let me take this opportunity to clarify the current situation and the legal regime under which the events have taken place. As you know, a proposal for the revival of Nalanda University was initiated by the government in 2007, and the Nalanda Mentor Group, NMG, was formed for taking forward this proposal. Subsequently, the Nalanda University Act of 2010 was passed by the Parliament, and it came into force in November of that year, that is November 2010. Initially, the Nalanda Mentor Group, formed in 2007, was meant to discharge the functions of the governing board, pending formation of a proper governing board according to the provisions of the Act. As the Mentor Group had been functioning for 9 years, and the Act provided for a 3-year tenure for its members, it was decided to constitute the board in accordance with the Nalanda Act. The last time the Mentors Group tenure was extended was on 25 November 2013, making it 3 years since then. So on November 21, the President of India, in his capacity as the visitor of the Nalanda University, approved the constitution of the governing board of the university in accordance with Section 7 of the Nalanda University Act of 2010. Let me emphasize that this is the first time since the Act was passed that a governing board has been properly constituted as per its provisions. The details of the members of the governing board, I'm sure, are already available with you. Finally, the President has also approved that upon completion of the extended term of the current Vice-Chancellor, which expires on 24th of November, and in the absence of a new Vice-Chancellor being appointed on or before 26th November, the senior-most dean may be temporarily appointed to discharge the duties of the Vice-Chancellor. This will be a stopgap measure until the new Vice-Chancellor is appointed. We have great respect for Mr. Giorgio and for his contributions to Nalanda University. However, these decisions were taken so that for the first time, the university would be in full compliance with the legal regime under which it was created. So I hope that clarifies the matter. Yes.
So this time it's regarding Kachchatheevu matter actually. So there is a church opening in December 7th actually. So for that they said Indian fishermen should not come to the church opening. So regarding that, Tamil Nadu government has written a letter to Minister of External Affairs. So have you received that letter? If yes, then what will be the stand on that?
I will have to check on this and get back to you. As far as I know, Kachchatheevu is a sub judice matter because it's with the Supreme Court. At the back, Kalul.
Sir, High Commissioner Basit today said that Pakistan is willing for talks on, and also joint investigation on cases like, say, in Uri. And he has distinguished Uri from Pathankot attack because he said that after Uri, even without an investigation, India blamed Pakistan, and India has continued to blame Pakistan whenever these cross-border incidents have happened. Would India be willing to go for a joint investigation on Uri?
Look, as I said, this has happened in the past also. If you look at the transcript of my previous briefings, Pakistan called for an international inquiry. We said we are happy with your own domestic inquiry. When we are giving you fingerprints, DNA of the terrorists who we believe have come from Pakistan, why can't Pakistan match it against its own national database? That would be the simplest thing to do. But Pakistan refuses to do that and instead engages in these pure propaganda ploys. If Pakistan is serious, then let them first bring to book those responsible for the Mumbai terror attack. Let them share with us the investigation into the Pathankot terror attack, for which a joint investigation team even came from Pakistan. Yes, Charu.
So again, just go back to Nalanda. I don't think anyone is pointing fingers at the legality of what happened vis-a-vis the appointment of the governing board. But one of the concerns that Mr. Giorgio has articulated is that he wasn't even consulted or informed about the whole process, and nor was anyone else at the university. Now again, I don't think there's any illegality in that. I don't think there's any legal requirement. But do you feel that perhaps the whole process could have been handled in a more sensitive manner to avoid what could, some fear, have implications for the international reputation of the whole process that's so important to India?
Look, all I would say is that the visitor's approval and his instructions on the constitution of the new board were received on Monday and communicated as quickly as possible on the same day. Yes.
Did Mr. Modi talk to Mr. Trump already after the
Mr. Trump, you are behind the times.
And
he was one of the first foreign leaders to call up Mr. Trump. He had a telephone conversation with him, and he also tweeted about it, and I also retweeted those. Yep, Parul.
Again, Nalanda, Mr. Yo, while putting in his papers, has said that he was promised full autonomy, which was not really given to him. He's complained about this. Do you think that this is without any basis, his complaint?
Is that what the president has done is to bring the functioning of the Nalanda University in compliance with the Nalanda University Act of 2010. This is the very first time that a governing board has been constituted as provided for in the Act. Before this, it was really an ad hoc arrangement. So if we bring legality to a setup, and that legality is in accordance with the law as passed by Parliament, I don't think how anybody can have any issues with that. Sridhar.
So with the General Rahil Sharif now out of office, do you think that a new chapter can begin? Is India prepared to give Pakistan a fresh chance? And when Mr. Aziz comes for the Heart of Asia conference, though you have said that as of now there's no proposal for a bilateral meeting, is there any possibility at all that he may meet Mr. Arun Jaitley, who would be representing India, for an informal meeting on the sidelines, just to break the ice?
I think I speak pretty clear English, and what I said, I think, is very clear. So I will not revisit what I spoke on the possibility of a bilateral. On the first part of your question, changes of the army chief, etc., are an internal matter of Pakistan. But we will judge Pakistan by its behavior and its track record, and not by its personnel changes. Yes.
Is there any proposal of bilateral talks with China during Heart of Asia, especially on the issue of Masood Azhar?
I'm told China is represented at an assistant minister level, so I do not know what the equivalence will be, whether China will seek a bilateral or not. So I'm not in a position to say whether or not there will be a bilateral or not. I think that concludes all the questions, so thank you all.